Welcome to the Home Health Minute, your monthly podcast brought to you by the Home Health section of the American Physical Therapy Association. Hosted by Troy Mead. Hey everyone, welcome to the Home Health Minute. I'm your host, Troy Mead. You may have noticed that we've been away for a while, and there's been some new changes, most notably a new host. Dessa has been very busy with other projects, and I've stepped in to help continue the podcast. But don't worry, we're still dedicated to bringing you the same great content that you've come to know and expect from the Home Health Minute. In the next few podcasts, we'll be bringing you information on different programs and resources that are available now, as well as what's coming out in the future from the section. So be prepared for new content and segments, as well as some of your old favorites. Since we've been away for a while, one of the biggest recent announcements has been the Advanced Competency program in Home Health from the Home Health section. I wanted to know more about this exciting new program, so I recently sat down with Chris Childers to discuss some of the details and advantages to the Advanced Competency program. Without further ado, here is our conversation. All right, so today I've asked Chris Childers, physical therapist, to come and talk to us more about this exciting new program. Welcome, Chris. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, first off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your association with the Advanced Competency and Home Health program?
Yeah, basically, I'm a physical therapist. I trained in my native United Kingdom and then came to America. My husband is American, so we came over. And predominantly, I worked in the geriatric field, skilled nursing, for many years. I'm a geriatric clinical specialist. And then I started going into academia, which meant that I was looking for some way of maintaining clinical skills, and home health was the most flexible, obvious choice for that. So I started working in home health, and like many other home health practitioners, I encountered polar opposites. I encountered excellent therapists out there doing phenomenal work. And then I also had a lot of patients telling me I was the first person ever who'd gone into the home who'd actually done anything that was worthwhile. And as a result, when I saw the request for potential co-directors for the Advanced Competency program, I thought, well, what better way to pay back the profession and to help enhance and increase the quality of care in the home health arena. And I was chosen as one of the two co-directors along with Bill Walsh, and that was 3 years ago. And we worked really hard. We put together all the core modules and everything else. And now I'm delighted to be part of a very lively faculty as part of the live program. And I'm still the ongoing director of the program.
You know, this sounds like a really valuable program to come out with. Mm-hmm. Can you give us a little background on why and how this program was started?
Mm-hmm. Well, members of the Home Health Committee, Home Health branch, started a steering committee many years ago. It was headed up by, I believe, Ken Miller, in order to do exactly what I just said, to try and promote higher quality care in the home health arena. And they did a lot of really good work, but because there wasn't a specific director, co-director, anybody sort of focused on doing it, obviously work pressures and various other things got in the way, and it never really got off the ground. And so they got to a point that the home health leadership basically said, you know what, we need this, we want to do this, let's make it focus, let's get some co-directors on board, and let's make it happen. And that's when Bill and I came on board with a dedicated focus of developing the program, and as a result it got started. But we are definitely very grateful to the enormous amount of work that was done by that steering committee, just coming up with the idea and then the business plan and everything else.
So you said it started out about 3 years ago, but now the program is in full swing. Is that right?
Right. Yes, okay. Basically, we launched, Bill and I started working on it 3 years ago. We actually launched the online modules last summer of 2017. We had our first face-to-face program. It was a very small program, but we wanted to do it basically as a trial run to the much bigger one we were anticipating and had at CSM. And we did that back in September, and since then it's just begun to snowball. It's really taking off. We're absolutely thrilled.
So the first graduates are from the live class at CSM this year. Is that correct?
Actually, no. The first graduates were as a result of a smaller live to the face-to-face program that we ran in Pittsburgh last year. We actually had 9 graduates as a result of that. We now have a total of 29 graduates, and we actually have 40 people who have already completed all the core and the face-to-face. They're just pending their electives and finalization of data. Many of them have probably already finished it. We just don't have that up-to-date information. We also have another 71 people who are enrolled in all the core courses but who've not yet done a face-to-face course. So we've got sort of a good 150 potential graduates, but we have 29 actual graduates at this time.
Who should be interested in this program? Is it for new clinicians who've been in the home health for a while?
It's a very diverse program, and we're actually finding that the people in the program are equally as diverse. We have a lot of relatively new clinicians who've gone into home health, and one of the unique things about home health is it is a fairly isolated location in the sense that you're in the home, you're on your own. The concept of mentorship is harder than it is, for example, in the acute care setting where you're in a big hospital surrounded by other therapists. So as a result, some of the new clinicians that we've spoken to say that they took this course basically as a form of mentorship, and they love the face-to-face because they get to speak to these experienced clinicians. And for them, it is, in many cases, a learning curve of additional things that they could or should be doing in the home. We also have a number of very experienced clinicians taking the course, and for them, it's more of a consolidation. It's more showing them, yes, you are doing this right. There's a few little aha light bulb moments where it's like, whoops, I've been doing that wrong, or, oh, I should have been adding that. But in many cases, our more experienced clinicians are finding it that it's just a nice consolidation of all the information that they've been doing and proof that they're doing things right. And the other type of person that we've had doing the course are the people who are actually running or leading home health rehabilitation agencies. So the people who are maybe in charge of multiple PTs or PTAs, and they just want to make sure that they know the cutting edge of home health care so that they can then pass that on. We're not saying that they're making their clinicians advanced competency, but they're realizing the need to do this and they're learning the benefits of the program.
Is the program only for licensed physical therapists?
Currently, it's just for licensed physical therapists. We are developing and hope to have rolled out by the end of 2018 a sister program for the physical therapy assistants, which will be very similar in style. It will have, at this point we think, it will have online modules and then a shorter but required face-to-face program. So that's really exciting, and we're hoping to have some nice integration between the two programs as well, to make sure that the PTs understand what the PTAs can do and vice versa.
What about students?
At this point, no, we don't allow students onto the program, but we would strongly encourage new grads who are thinking of going into home health.
What kind of benefits would someone who completes the program expect?
I think, obviously they're going to be able to indicate on their CV, indicate on their, letterhead, their business cards that they do have the advanced competency in home health. I think, again, it's the renewal, revision of skills. And what was really interesting is last month, the PT in Motion magazine came out with a very interesting article about the future of home health. And they basically said that the clinicians that are going to survive and the companies that are going to survive in home health are the ones that are on the cutting edge, the ones that have got PTs that can reconcile medications, that can make the decision to 911 a patient out, that can decide when or when not to progress the patient appropriately, and do it all in an ethical and an appropriate way, meeting all the requirements and the documentation and everything else. So I think some of the benefits, hopefully moving forward, are that there are going to be certain companies that will only use PTs that have the ACH. That's our goal, that's our desire. And so certainly that would hopefully be a big benefit for anybody doing the program.
It seems with home health that there's a certain set of skills that you really have to possess in order to be successful.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is not so much the actual skills as the knowing when to use them and which ones to use. Because home health is very unique, and people will often say it's not that specialized, because a lot of home health therapists will have one other of the clinical certifications like geriatrics or neurology or even orthopedics. But it's knowing how to put everything together and make those decisions on your own in the spur of the moment, and or how to adapt things to cope with the location that you find. Anybody can give therapy in a huge gym with all the equipment that you need, but working in a house as somebody who's a collectaholic and 3 dogs running around your ankles and the phone going and the television on really loud, then being able to come up with the right skills is a very different challenge. So it's a fun environment. It's a really fun environment.
So can you tell us a little bit more what the program consists of? So there's online classes that are elective and some that are required. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, the whole program is 20-hour requirement of core modules. The core modules consist of assessment, pharmacology, regulation and documentation, balance and falls, and ethics. And those are all online modules of varying length, all of which have a small exam at the end of each of the ones to prove that you have gained the knowledge required. Once you've completed the core modules, then you can attend the live face-to-face course. And that is a requirement. The core modules have to have been completed because the live face-to-face develops and continues what you've learned, so that we continue with the pharmacology, we continue with the cardiology and the pulmonary issues that we've discussed in the modules in the live program. The live is 2 days, it's 15 hours, it's very comprehensive. It's an exciting 2 days in the sense that it's a nice mix of sitting, listening, being lectured with, case discussions, actual lab, hands-on demonstration, and practice. So you're up and down, keeping busy the whole time. Then once you've done the face-to-face, but of course you can do it before if you want to, there's a requirement to take an additional 4 hours from our elective options. Currently with the electives, we have angina, chronic illness, vestibular, advanced musculoskeletal, and incontinence. In the pipeline, we have some neurology modules and a cognition module that will be coming up. Those vary anything from 1 to 2 hours to 6 hours. So you can choose a combination of those to make up those 4 hour electives. So once you've done the 4 hours of electives, the 20 hours of core, and the 15 face-to-face, then you are qualified as Advanced Competency in Home Health, and you receive a certificate and a very nice little lapel pin.
Now, you talked a little bit about the live classes. What are the live classes offered?
Well, we'll be offering one at Pre-Com CSM at least next year. If the numbers stay good, we'll probably be planning on doing that most years. Then the goal is to offer at least 2 more versions of the live course every year. Generally, it'll be one in sort of the late spring, early summer, and one in the early fall. This year, because we were rolling out the first ever big one at CSM, we got a little bit behind. So this year we'll probably do one late summer and one early fall. But our goal in future is basically wherever, depending on where CSM is, the other 2 will either be west and east or Midwest. So that you've got, we'll be moving around the country. I think our goal is actually to find 3 locations and just rotate between those 3 locations and CSM. So people will have some continuity about where that course is going to be and plan which one they want to attend.
How long does it typically take a student to go through the whole course, and how long do you have to actually complete everything that's required?
There is a requirement that from the day you sign up for the first module to the day you complete the program is 18 months. We want to make sure that people do it in a succinct time frame, just so that everything remains current and appropriate and relevant to them. Some people have been doing it very, very quickly. Other people have been spreading it out, probably on average 6-ish months from beginning to end, depending on when the live is. We launched the modules in the summer, and by CSM, a lot of people had done all their online requirements and then just had to do the live. So if you think of that in terms of like August through February, people had done all the online requirements. So probably about 6 months. But obviously people can spread it out, take their time, but 18 months is the requirement.
So after you completed the program and you've received your certificate, is there a renewal process?
Yeah, that one's still in the planning stages, a bit like the PTA program. That's sort of our next big project. We are looking at a mandatory recertification requirement every 5 years. And what we're thinking about doing is basically making that a certain amount of continuing education, which could be a combination of more of the electives that we are offering, because our goal is to keep rolling out more and more electives. As people indicate their areas of interest, we'll create electives. So the idea would be that the renewal would be that they take maybe another so many hours worth of the electives. Or the other idea is at some of the big conferences, like particularly CSM, we pre-approve certain of the sessions as being appropriate for renewal, and the Learning Center provides you with a breakout of where you went to at CSM. So that would be how they would prove it. So for example, CSM, there's always the hot topics in home health. Maybe that would be one that proof of attending that counts as so many hours towards renewal. We haven't finalized that yet, but these are the ideas that are coming out. There would not, at this point, we would not require another mandatory live program for recertification.
Anything else in the future that you see the program that's
I think we're busy enough right now. I mean, obviously, like I say, the biggest thing is we're well, not only do we want to keep bringing out new elective modules, but obviously, particularly things like the regulation and documentation, we need to make sure that we are constantly updating that, keeping it current. The live program, continually, again, updating and keeping that current, because the live program is completely evidence-based. And then, the PTA and the renewal programs, big things coming up. I don't think there's much else we can do unless we start bringing some OTs into the mix as well. That'd be fun too.
So how would someone who's interested in the program go about taking that first step? Where would we go to learn some more about this?
Okay, you go onto the APTA website and you go to the Learning Center, the APTA Learning Center. If you click on like the profession and practice under education, there's a link directly to the APTA Learning Center, and there is a PDF basically that tells you all about the requirements for the Advanced Competency. It shows you all the different courses. It also tells you all the prices. There is a financial break for registering for all the core modules simultaneously. And also there's obviously a break for being a home health member section member. And then obviously there are the other ones, the electives. What some people are doing is maybe tapping into some of the electives first, just to see if it's something that's of interest and use to them. But once you make a decision that you want to do the Advanced Competency, you are financially better off committing to do all the core modules together. Not that you have to take them all at the same time, but you pay for them all at the same time and then pace yourself accordingly. And then plan on when you're going to go to a live session from there.
Great, Chris. Thanks for all the information about the program. So if you're interested in the program, go to the APTA Learning Center, like Chris said, to learn more and how to get started. Thank you again, Chris. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I wish the best for you and program and everything.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the Home Health Minute, the podcast from the Home Health section of the American Physical Therapy Association. Check out our website at www.homehealthsection.org. There you can find links to this episode, tons of helpful resources for your practice, and how to connect with us on social media. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.